Hey, how's it going? Caleb here, hope you're doing well. And I thought I'd make this video because so many Europeans in my comment section accuse me of being ignorant, or just Americans as a whole, one of their favorite things to do. So I'll talk a little bit about what I remember from high school, and that's mostly where Americans are taught history, or things about other country, geography and whatnot. I've actually I've learned a lot outside of school, but I'm trying to I'll try to say if something I mentioned is I learned from out of school, but most of these things I think I learned from school. I took AP European History, which is advanced placement, which is like higher level. It's equivalent. You get college credits for taking it in high school. And anyway, I thought I'd start with Russia, although Russian people, from every time I've dealt with them, have been really cool and nice and things. So, I don't know, the people in my comment section usually seem to be like Germans or, I don't know, British people. The Scandinavian people have been nice, but the German and British people, I don't know, take it easy. I'm trying here, I'm not trying to make up stuff. I'm just trying to go by what I have learned, what I know, facts. I'm not trying to make claims about things that without having some evidence for it. So anyway, let's jump into it. Starting out, and I'm not going to say everything that I'm going to try to go through a lot of things, but kind of the main points of history. So anyway, Russia, apparently a while ago, a lot of it was Mongolia, and I forgot if it was before, after that, or like sort of ancient times before there was an official Russia established. It was kind of, I believe it was like raider tribes kind of roaming around. And the people who like now we know as Russian, although it is somewhat of a mixed country with those of kind of European descent. If you look around the areas of Mongolia in particular, the Russian areas around Mongolia, you see people who clearly have like Asian features. But anyway, apart from those, the people who we usually think of as Russian is like, from my memory, I remember they had said that like they were kind of raider groups, and would cause like trouble for Mongolians. But anyway, eventually they like banded together and started to make this Russia, and I believe it's not even like what we consider Russia is not even that old. I don't think it's more than like. I don't think it's more than 1,000 years old, but I could be wrong about that. Didn't a long gap in between there. I remember learning about Peter the Great a lot. I mean, I'm not saying that we learned a lot about him, but I retained the information about Peter the Great because I thought it was quite interesting, and it might have just been that my teacher in particularly went over talking about him. In particular detail, but I thought it was. I think it's kind of noteworthy, and just because somewhat unique, not just in Russian history but in overall history. In that, allegedly, since he was like quite a large guy for the time, and I think he would still be a tall guy now, but he was like apparently very tall for the time because people back then were not as tall. He was like kind of a strong figure, and like I don't know how to say, the right word, but I don't want to say strict, but like he was forceful, I suppose, in his sort of leading of Russia and trying to get things done. And he would, so in his direction of people, but also if there was something need to be done, he would kind of do it himself. He would take it upon himself. And he could do things like cause great harm to people himself because he was such a big guy. And he, again, these are, anything I'm saying, I keep feeling like I should say it allegedly or like this is what I've taught. I'm just going to say from here on out, I could be wrong, so correct me at any time. I'm just telling you what I heard, okay? So he went to, learn, I forgot from who, if he just went to Upward. I feel like he learned from the Dutch, but I could be totally wrong. He learned from some, I'm just going to say some shipbuilders or some dock, some harbor. He learned how to like these things with maritime thing about maritime thing stuff. I'm sorry, because he wanted to make Russia more of like a maritime power, and he wanted to have like a warm water port, I believe. And St. Petersburg was named after him, which I thought was interesting because he's the only person I know of that is not considered like a saint, that has that associated with his name, but I believe he was named after St. Peter from the Bible. So how Catholics refer to him. Yeah, and I don't know. Apparently he did a pretty good job. Apparently, he helped Russia. A certain more than the average leader did. And then a big gap in history again. Oh wait, no, I'm missing. Rasputin. Learn a bit, like apparently people thought he was in like witchcraft and things, and he tried to influence the leader. I forgot, or he did have a great influence over a leader, and then I believe there's a story of him being killed, or them trying to kill him, and he like wouldn't die or something. Like he had been delivered a fatal blow and it didn't kill him or something, or something weird about that, like his body wouldn't burn or his body would like float on water. I don't remember the details, but it was something weird. And then Lenin, honestly I don't remember much about Lenin. I wish I did, but I remember the Bolsheviks, and I believe Lenin was the leader of the Bolsheviks, and this is one of the most incredible things, and I would be interested to hear a Russian's perspective on this and know if this is totally true. But I just want to, because I'm so curious about this, I want to know if, Lenin, okay, he was the leader of the Bolsheviks, right, okay. I just wanted to check because I felt like that must be right, but yeah, it is right. Okay. Because it's such a big thing, I didn't want to get that wrong. I was pretty sure I was right, but I just wanted to double check. Anyway, so yeah, Lenin with the Bolsheviks, and the thing that I found incredibly fascinating, and I see this in American politics all the time, constantly, and I can give you examples. But apparently Bolshevik means majority in Russian. And let me check. Let me see. I'm gonna type in what does. Yeah. Comes from the Russian Bolshinstvo, majority. So apparently they were not the majority party, and they sort of, I don't know, allegedly tricked everybody into thinking they were, and so then people voted for them. And it's a very fascinating commentary on human psychology, because people people greatly, and I think this is a great evidence to this. If it's correct, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If it's correct, that people will kind of just go with a group if they think it's the majority. It's how, even if it's and I believe the voting system was not public, like people wouldn't get in trouble for voting for someone else, as far as I know. So it is sort of strange how simple, not everyone, but a lot of people are. I see this in American politics all the time, in that, like, they're always touting how successful a certain certain news outlet has their own bias or viewpoint or what they're trying to show, and they're always touting how successful their candidate, how much they're beating another, particularly Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump, and how much it was, they were saying things like it was basically pointless for him to continue his campaign because she was just so far ahead of him, and she said so much of the majority Bolshevik, and I don't think they would do that if it didn't add to the campaign, if it didn't add to the candidate that they were supporting. And I do think it adds in that so many people, they just will go with the majority. And I think you see that in the two-party system in America, and how like a third party has never really been successful, because people kind of give up even if their ideas, even if everything about them is much better. So anyway, that was the biggest thing I learned from Russian history, because it's so pervasive in every country, I'd say. And I believe Lenin had started with the 5-year plans, 5 or 10-year plans, and he would like have these like great overhauls, and there was a lot of, I don't know if it was Lenin or Stalin, so won't get into that now. Somebody can comment. One of them. I'm just gonna type in 5-year plan here, Russia, and see what comes up with it. See what it comes up with. Maybe it was the Soviet Union that started it. Anyway, these 5-year, I remember learning about 5-year plans. And apparently they were very detrimental to many people in Russia, but it helped Russia get more advanced. And they were like big, sort of ambitious plans to. Stalin introduced the 5-year plans. Okay, yeah. Introduce. To advance Russia. They were supposed to advance Russia greatly. And yeah, so apparently somewhat successful in accomplishing goals, but very detrimental to the people at the time, allegedly. Cold War. I don't remember how they were detrimental, and I could have got that detail wrong. Maybe it was just good for everybody, but anyway. So Lenin, Stalin. Stalin. He's often referred to, like, compared with Hitler, and apparently, like, many millions of people died under him and because of him. Either through famine or murder or whatever. Everybody's heard of Stalin. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. But yeah, apparently more deaths are attributed to him than even Hitler. But I've heard that outside of school many times. So, Cold War, something that I thought I would have learned about more, but they didn't really talk about that much. Maybe it was just because it's this sort of more recent history. We don't really go over as much. But I remember hearing stories about. I don't know how much I should overlap this, like, sort of East Germany, the USSR, Russia history, but stories about people like really trying to get out of East Germany, like they would, like try to hide in parts of cars, and then there's like kind of a weird story, but there was something blocking cars from going into West Germany, and this guy just drove and put his head down, and his whole top of the car ripped off because it was supposed to block the car, but he's like, well, I can fit under there the rest of my car, because he wanted to get out so badly. And I don't know, pretty bleak in East Germany under USSR. I don't know if, again, I should include this in Russian history, but a lot of power grabbing, a lot of countries under control of Russia, USSR. What's it called? The thing. Chernobyl. And one thing I learned outside of history class was that apparently Chernobyl was like sort of the major catalyst for the downfall of the Soviet Union. And the Berlin Wall coming down. Learn a decent amount about like the missiles, new possibility of nuclear war, Russia trying to have missiles stationed in Cuba, and then they were blockaded, they turned around, and mutually assured destruction, Star Wars, the Star Wars system, not the movies. Which is one thing that I never really got, is like, okay, if it was neutral, like, allegedly I was taught that, I heard this, that the fear of nuclear war went down a lot with the Star Wars system, and that they had a system to take out missiles that were coming in. So I feel like we must have stuff much more advanced than that now, right? Why are people afraid of nuclear war now? Apart from missiles that goes, I forgot what they're called, but the ones that go really close to the ground, they're hard to detect. But I feel like we must have something to detect that now. Considering so far in the future, and so much better technology. But anyway, that's getting a little bit off track, quite a bit. Sorry about that. Berlin Wall coming down. Boris Yeltsin, apparently he got, I don't know. So this is, I think I learned outside of from here on out. I can't remember now if I learned in school or what. But Boris Yeltsin had troubles and was not popular, and then he sort of abdicated, and Putin sort of just took over and took his place somehow. I don't really understand the USSR collapse. I would be fascinated to hear more about that, because I don't understand a country or a government just giving up power. Did they were they about to be overthrown and they were afraid that they would be murdered by everybody against them or something? I really don't know. But yeah, then Putin, which makes up taking over makes up, I think, most of my life. And yeah, from then it's just been the Putin train. More and more Putin all the time. And yeah, what a difference. Boris Yeltsin, who I believe gave up power, and Putin, who seemingly never wants to give up power. So anyway, yeah, that was longer than I thought it would be, but yeah, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot more that I learned. That's what I remember from school. And if anything I said that was wrong, please correct me. I do not mean to be giving a history lesson. Again, just saying to learn. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I would love to go to Russia. I find Russia quite fascinating, and Russian is maybe my favorite sounding language. So, love ya. Have a good one. God bless.